this year. So, for instance, whereas the department thought they would have a carryover of approximately $1,705,000 at the end of 2012, they will only have approximately $904,000. So let me begin this by first asking our fiscal officer to please explain what happened, what steps were taken to correct this mistake, and also what steps, if any, could be taken in the future to prevent this from happening again. Mr. Spitzer.
Sure, thank you. And I take a page out of your book, Mr. Chairman, and prepared something. I have a copy for each of you. The certificate of estimated resources sent to the Delaware County Auditor's Office in August of the preceding year, as Mr. Katz mentioned, as an estimate of what we will have at the beginning of the following year from August through December. It is simply guesswork on our part for expenditures of each department. Once our books for the year have been closed, a fund status is sent to the Delaware County Auditor's Office, from which an amended certificate of estimated resources is generated. All certificates of estimated resources are just that, estimations of revenue. Hence, our office files for and receives several amended certificates of estimated resources throughout the course of a year. Estimate is not an exact science. However, the fiscal office spends a considerable amount of time reviewing past, present, and future revenues, estimating for the following year. The certificate of estimated resources filed in August of 2009 for the year 2010 contained an error in the fire fund, resulting in an overestimation of revenue. The certificate of estimated resources passed our office, the county auditor's office, with the error and was thankfully discovered by the chiefs. Upon being made aware of the mistake in our estimate, Ms. Martin and I faxed a corrected certificate of estimated resources to the county auditor's office. A first amended certificate is being generated to correct this error. A second amended certificate is being generated to reflect actual fund carryover from 2009 to 2010. I have a faxed first and second amended certificate of estimated resources that reflect the correction and carryover. Out of respect for the presiding county officers, the fiscal office is not releasing the corrected and actual estimated figures until the auditor, prosecutor, and treasurer sign off on it. However, I provided a copy of the unsigned amended certificates for review that were faxed to my office today. And I think initially what happened is that when we were preparing our estimation, we added the taxes twice inadvertently. And that's how the figures got skewed. And as I mentioned, it went to my office. The county auditor, they didn't catch it. I do want to thank the chiefs for bringing that to our attention.
Just one question, if I may. Mr. Spitzer, is there anything that we can do in the future to cross-check or anything to help prevent this from happening again?
I mean, maybe I could work closely with the administrator. She could review it before I send it to the county auditor's office. It just has a double check before it's sent off.
Okay. I do want to go to our fire chief, assistant chief, and ask them what the impact of this will be moving forward. Did I state the case correctly? I think I did.
Yes, you did. It will have an impact on the budget. It will not have a, we're not going to have to lay off personnel. We're not going to have to make any of those kind of changes. It will delay the purchase of some fire equipment. We had budgeted about $830,000 over the last 4 years according to our master plan, so that we'd be able to replace fire vehicles without having to go back for a large tax increase. So what we will do is we will review everything in more detail. But at this point, for this coming year, we'll be able to use that $800,000 that was set aside for vehicle purchases and then review each year as we work forward. Where that money is going to come from in the next 2 years, we're going to work very diligently making sure that we provide the services that we've always provided. And we'll do what needs to be done to make sure that our people are supported and that the residents of Orange Township will have no complaints or will not see any difference in what services they are receiving or will receive.
Any questions for either Mr. Spitzer or the chief? Anything?
May I ask a question to the chief?
Yes.
Thank you. I noticed that the appropriations did change. Once the correction was made, your appropriations didn't change. So I was just curious if you could explain how.
I'm sorry, no.
I was just curious how you could, if you could explain how this error impacted your budget when your appropriations didn't change before and after the correction.
If you look at the estimated income, we were expecting an additional $800,000
I understand.
based on the figures that your office gave us. And so now, because we're having to readjust, which we haven't readjusted the entire budget, which we will go back and do now, we're expecting the extra $800,000 that was on the estimated report.
Okay. So you're anticipating changing those appropriations?
We're going to have to change those.
That's all I was curious. Thanks.
Any further questions for either our fiscal officer or our chief? Okay. With that, then, I thank you.
May I make a report?
You may.
All right.
Absolutely may.
You asked everyone else, and I thought I'd
Absolutely.
put down a couple of those.
Please proceed.
A couple things. The last 2 weeks, your firefighters and paramedics have been attending hazmat training refresher courses. They've also been reviewing their cold weather training for fires and situations, water rescue. We've also been reviewing our winter driving procedures, making sure that we're meeting those needs. I also have to report, sadly, that one of our firefighter paramedics' father passed away this past weekend, Micah Scott. So one of us, or all of us, will be attending at least visiting hours, if not the funeral themselves. Now, I'd also like to ask permission of the trustees. Lieutenant McCafferty with the Lancaster City Fire Department was on a fire scene on January the 2nd, had a massive stroke, and just passed away January 16th. 37 years at Lancaster Fire Department. And some of the guys have asked for permission to go to Lancaster on their own time, but I've requested to take a vehicle. That will be a decision that the assistant chief and I will make as to which vehicle that would be. But I wanted to inform the trustees, or ask the trustees for permission to take a vehicle to Lancaster for a live duty death funeral.
Gentlemen, can we discuss perhaps the consensus on that?
I'm supportive of it.
Yeah, me too. Mr. President?
I'm going to support it as well.
Okay. I take it then we have consensus. We do have consensus. Let the record show.
And and also, we have been asked to be a drop-off point for supplies that would be going to the people of Haiti. And I would also provide each of the trustees with that letter requesting that if there's any complications or any issues